Hi guys, 18 Dapper here and welcome to this episode 4 of Comment of the Week. Let's get the video started. So welcome to this episode guys. First comment comes in from Liam Martin and he says, great video mate, keep up the great content, you do great vlogs and great previews, keep up the great work. I watch all of your vlogs and my favourite part of the vlogs is the fans' thoughts. It's a really good way to see how other fans think, how the game will go, so keep up the great content mate. So a big thank you to Liam. It's nice to get positive feedback and to know what you guys enjoy watching. I really enjoy doing the fans' thoughts. It's a good way of engaging with other fans from other clubs to get their view, because at the end of the day you guys know your club a lot better than what I do, and it's nice to get that background knowledge and the views from other people. But moving on to the main comment for this vlog, it came from episode 2. I will link episode 2 in the top corner. That was my Doncaster Rovers best 11, which links into Andy's comment. He says, nice video mate, on the flip side, what's your worst Donny 11 of all time? So for me this one was even tougher than the best, because you think of the good players and they kind of roll off the tongue when you're thinking of past decent players of your club. But when you're thinking about players who were not so good for your club, it takes a lot more thought. So before I go into the starting 11 for the worst 11, I do want to say that some of these players were very good footballers, but the time at the Rovers just wasn't very good. It was just a period of their career that I don't think they'll look back on with fond memories. So don't take it to heart if one of these players has played for your club and were very good. Just my opinion of the time at the Rovers, they either came with high expectations and didn't fulfil that, or it just didn't quite work out for them. So with that being said, let's get into the starting 11. In goal, I've gone with Chris Kirkland. Now, it came to us, he made one appearance, and in that one appearance, back spasms, got injured. It was one of those players that came to the Rovers and we thought, we've got a good keeper here, could give us that little bit of an edge, and it just didn't work out for him, unfortunately. Went straight back to his parent club. Back spasms, just unfortunate. So Chris Kirkland gets the #1 shirt for me. On to the defence. Starting at left back, Harisha Ilunga. So he was part of the team that finished bottom of the championship, and for me, he could have contributed a lot more while he played for the Rovers. Just didn't seem that interested in playing for the club, more about himself, and I think that showed on the pitch. Teamwork wasn't there, so unfortunately he gets the left back. Joining him at centre back, Jos van Uudstad. So he came to the Rovers, he had Champions League experience, only one game, but he's still experienced nonetheless, and he just struggled to break into the team. Didn't play very often, so one of those defenders who could have been a household name potentially, but just didn't quite make it. On to the other side of the defence, we'll start with the second centre back, Abdoulaye Meite. So big expectations for a player who used to play for Marseille. Crazy to think that we could get players of that calibre in at the Rovers, but he only played 16 times for us in the end. But yeah, just not very good. She got me a cup of tea, that's nice, isn't it? On to right back, we are going with Pascal Chimbonda. Whoop. I'm back. Pascal Chimbonda. He was one of the players who joined in the experiment. Not a very good experiment. I think on paper it sounded great, bringing players in of a high calibre to help us achieve our goals, but in the end it just turned out to be a shot window for them, and they weren't playing for the club at all. Chimbonda only played 16 times, and once again never really committed to the team. Played more for the name on the back of his shirt than the badge on the front, and for me that is the worst thing possible in a player at my club. Moving on to the midfield. On the left, I've gone with Kazenga Luar, fantastic player now. or he has been. He was only young when he came to us on loan. It was one of those where we were thinking, yeah, a really good young talent, could be good for the Rovers, but just didn't do that much for us, unfortunately. One of those players who potentially forgot played for us, but yeah, done well in his career. I think he's at Luton at the minute. Showed us how to play a few times last season. And on to the other side of the midfield, right midfield, going another player who we've faced recently, Lynden Gooch. Came in on loan for us. He's a decent player now, but when he was on loan, only played 10 games, and it was a bit of an underperformance. So a bit of a shame. Again, expectations were high when Gooch came in, but one of those wingers to forget again. Onto the centre of the park, I'm going to make a start with Quinton Fortune. Ex-Man United player, another one, high expectations when he came in. Only managed 6 appearances for the Rovers, and one of those he got sent off. So another one where we thought, really good midfielder here, could link up between the defence and the strikers, but just didn't quite click at the Rovers, unfortunately. I believe he played for Atletico Madrid at some point as well, so decent calibre player, just didn't happen for him at the Rovers. Joining him in the middle of the park, I've gone with Marc Fernandez. Another one, high expectations, Spanish centre midfielder coming in. We thought, is this the next Xavi, Iniesta, David Silva, sorry. David Villa's a striker. But we thought expectations were high, and once again, a player who just didn't manage to get into the team. Only played 16 times for the Rovers during his time at the club. Onto the strikers now. Going to make a start with another ex-Man United player, Federico Macheda. So another one coming in, high expectations, played for Man United. He started well. Didn't score on his debut, I don't think, but then scored 3 goals in the next 2 games. So a decent start, 3-3, but then he finished playing 15 games for us and only scoring 3 goals. So from a striker with a lot of expectations, nothing materialised from that. And joining him up top, Curtis Main. So his arrival, I remember people talking about it, a big strong striker up front, something that we needed. The transfer was James Husband to Middlesbrough, and then we got Curtis Main. I'm not sure if there was any money transferred as well, but 9 goals in 48 appearances for the Rovers is not a return that you want from a striker, so unfortunately Curtis Main gets the last spot in this Doncaster Rovers worst 11. So quick recap on the 11. Kirkland in goal, back four of Ilunga, Van Nieuwstadt, Pascal Chimbonda, midfield 4 of Luar, Fortune, Deval Fernandez, Gooch, and then up front Macheda and Main. Let me know what you think of that Doncaster Rovers worst 11. Like I said, some of the guys in that team either were very good players or became very good players, but for me, in my opinion, they were the ones that I looked at and thought they could have done better and underperformed at the Rovers. Don't forget to put in the comments down below who you would change out of that. I'm looking forward to reading some of them. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. As always, big thumbs up if you have enjoyed it. Comments in the section down below. You may feature in comment of the week. Don't forget, it doesn't have to be football related. It could be any question that you want to ask me. If it's decent enough for a comment of the week, it'll be in there. And last but not least, subscribe if you haven't already. Unfortunately, no match preview video this week, as you may have heard, Berry have unfortunately been removed from the Football League. My thoughts go out to the players, the staff, but more so the fans of Bury Football Club. Being a football fan myself, I know how difficult, or I can imagine how difficult it would be not to have a club to support on a Saturday. So my thoughts do go out to you guys. Very unfortunate situation, but hopefully you bounce back from this. Not folded as a club, so hopefully you guys rise from the ashes and do something similar to what Wimbledon did. So that's it for this one. If you've enjoyed it, as I've said, thumbs up, comments, subscribe if you haven't already. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.